Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to WNBA recap. Going to run through these three games from tonight. I'm Raymond Lyons. That's Wilson Tarpe Jr. Going to start with the LA Sparks and Minnesota Lynx. LA got them up out the way, 97-81. This was a strange one. Simone Augustus playing against Minnesota. She had 13. It was, of course, that was the topic of discussion surrounding this. Pretty sure it was a lot of emotions on both sides, but they got through it. Post game, Simone said, she was just glad it was over. Candace Parker had a near triple double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Raquana Williams, 21 off the bench. She was huge for them today. Um, for Minnesota, Crystal Dangerfield, 29 points, career high for her young career. Damaris Dantas, 15.7 rebounds, and Bridget Carleton with another good game, 15 points. What's your thoughts on this one, Wilson?
I mean, not gonna hold anything against the Lynx. The Sparks did what they had to do. When you take future Hall of Famer Sylvia Fowles off the floor, the team's not gonna look the same. All right, Shanice Johnson also didn't play, and yeah, I'm sure Simone Augustus is happy this game's over because all you heard was, "I would entertain the whole you're playing your former team thing if they weren't stuck in a bubble. Like this story doesn't even have any legs anymore. The emotional aspect of it is gone because it's not like they didn't have the opportunity for this game to be in Minnesota with the
Right.
fans, where you would have had the video tribute, and all that stuff that really kind of pulls at the heartstrings, right? This was just a game in the bubble, and folks just wanted to talk about something. And I literally believe her when she post game when she was talking about it just wasn't really anything emotional. I totally believe it. Like you're in a bubble. How can it be emotional? Like I'm sure it was weird for a moment seeing your former
Right,
coach,
right.
seeing Coach Reeve on the opposite sideline, but I mean outside of that, Sil wasn't on the floor. Maya's not on the floor. Like all the things I feel that would truly make it emotional weren't available to you. Um, but yeah, the Sparks handle their business, and it's good to see them. Sometimes with, especially in these type of situations, just handling your business is a positive thing, right? You didn't make
Hmm.
it harder than it needed to be. Um, they used a good fourth quarter run to kind of put this thing out of reach, and then again, I have nothing but I'm still impressed by the Lynx. I don't know how they just. You had every reason to mail this one in today or come up short, but it felt like even though they came up short, like they only lost the battle on the boards by 10, was still not playing. Like that's how hard this team still fought and scrapped with a team that's much. Look at their front line. And NECA played today, if I'm not correct, right?
Hmm.
NECA played today.
Yeah.
So the Sparks had their whole fearsome front line out there, and you only lost by 10 on the boards. Yeah, and I'm sure they were happy, like you mentioned with Keena Williams, that she was being aggressive. That's what they brought her there for. Go get a bucket. It's okay. That's what we need from you. I mean, look, we were talking, on the NBA side of things. LA shot 65 from the floor, 59 from deep. Let's round it up. They shot 65 from the floor and 60 from deep. You losing that game? Probably not.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
much.
the one negative here is they had 20 turnovers, and those turnovers is
Mhm.
kind of how the Lynx found a way to stay in this game. As long as they could, them turnovers played a huge role in that. But yeah, man, just the Sparks handled their business, and Coach Reeve been drafted, man. That's all I got to say. She's been drafted. Y'all better stop letting her get her. She's over there just collecting huskies. Y'all need to stop.
Oh, man.
Just stop.
All right, moving on to the second game. Vegas played New York. The Aces won 78-76. Man, hey, New York might be
Mm-hmm.
they might be trouble sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
They just beat the Mystics the last game, man. They gave Vegas everything they could handle tonight. Took a Herculean effort from Asia Wilson to pull this one out. She had 31 and 5. Um, man, I know it's early, but MVP talk.
For sure.
Like,
This game is, if she wins the MVP, this is going to be one of the first games played on the little montage, right?
mm-hmm.
Like this was that type of performance, and they needed. This was like the first subpart game you got from Angel McCautry,
Yep.
where it wasn't literally the Asian Angel show, and Asia went 10 of 17 from the floor, and I know y'all are gonna get tired of me always talking about her ability to draw fouls, but 11 to 12 from the stripe. So that's some high quality efficiency right there, especially when they know you're getting the ball. Uh, Look, man, it was one of those MVP level flexes, and that's all it was for the Liberty. They gained confidence, man, and it started with first quarter against Washington. Like we
Hmm.
talk all the time when you don't come out and take care of business early, and teams that are even going through something, they start to get confidence, and it builds and it builds. And I want to give so much credit. I want to make sure she's not ignored or it's glossed over. But Amanda Zowie B, her evolution from just a post player and the transformation is her physique as well over the years. Like she's hooping, man. She went 6 of 9 from three today.
Hmm.
And we were talking about how what the Liberty's offense looks like. A lot of people just keep like they sag off her, and she's making teams pay. And then she's also doing the dirty work down in the paint, beating folks up on the glass too. And that's the other thing the Liberty have. They have a lot of length. They got size in their front court, and you know, like this might have been also one of the few games where it felt like the Erica Hamby didn't have her normal typical impact, and it's because New York's walking around with, Joyner Holmes is 6 foot something, Jocelyn Willoughby like size all over that court. Kylie Shook has height on her. It's, like you said, the Liberty looking like before this bubble thing ends, gains are going to be made. Gains are going to be made. And this is 2 games in a row, right? And while I do agree that, Washington's approach could have been better, that their approach has nothing to do with how hard New York outplayed them. And New York
Hmm.
came out here and scrapped again. And this was just a special player saving her team on a night where they needed saving. Like, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it came down to. Yeah, Asia was just too good today. Moving on to the last game, the
Mm,
Mystics and the Fever. Uh, Mystics drop another one,
yep.
91-84. Man, they having a rough go at it. It's just four in a row.
Yes, it is 4 in a
Uh,
row.
yeah, Indiana got a little revenge from opening night. Kelsey Mitchell, 29 points. Tierra McCowan, 15 and 11 for the Washington side. Emma, she had another solid scoring night. She had 19, but we talked about it last game. Got it, 2 rebounds, not gonna get it done, man. Like she's got to hit the glass harder than that. Tiana Hawkins had 17 and 10. But Washington, they missed aerial powers tonight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, especially with Kelsey Mitchell running wild out there. And Ariel gives them something on the offensive end as well. So yeah, just talk to me about this one.
Yeah, for Washington, like good friend Matt Ellentuck, was asking on Twitter tonight, like Washington fans, what do you think? Um, I don't feel anything differently about them, and I'm sure I don't need to go back to the tape, but even when they were winning, like the margin for error for this group is a lot less than the margin for error than the group that won the championship last year. Like I don't think there's anything groundbreaking here. I think it's one of those things where this team is realizing because for most of these folks that are playing right now, the only one starter is here, right? Keeping it a buck, not knocking anything, just saying only one starter from the team that made a championship run is currently on this roster. Everybody else who was here, their roles were completely different last year. So with your roles being completely different, not only are you dealing with your role expanding, you're also dealing with the pressures that come with that. Essentially, with if you're coming off the bench, you get to read the game first and then get into it. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're dealing with, now you're starting, so then you're dealing with that, and then now you got to deal with the mental fatigue that literally comes with starting. Coming off the bench, like you're gonna be mentally fatigued. I feel personally like it's a different type of fatigue though. Like again, you still get to watch the game and know where it needs to be impacted coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Where in this case, a lot of these players are dealing with this for the first time with having the mental stamina. And I love what Maisha Hines Allen said after the game, and she was just like, "We're fine. I don't think we need to be panicking. It's just mental, and I totally agree with that. What did they do in the first three games? They played defense, they scrapped, and they fought tooth and nail to battle on the glass because they're undersized. These last four games, you can't say they did any of those things consistently in the four games that they lost. It's that simple. And even in the four games that they lost, when they did them in spurts, that's when they played well. It literally hinges on that. And even last year, for as much firepower as they had, what were we all talking about last year was gonna be the key for them to win a championship?
Defense.
Yeah, that
They had to because they were small. Like the teams were bruising bigs.
yo.
They hurt them, but they had to make up for it like on the perimeter and digging down double teams and stuff like that.
But they scrapped and they played at a much higher level defensively. And like
Hmm.
Coach T said after the game, last year they were able to do it with length. So like they had shot blockers, but everyone just had length. Elena's 6'5", Latoya's 6'2", 6'3" with length, right? Tiana's 6'3" with length. Where right now, even for as strong as Maisha is, the physicality she brings, she's 6'1". Emma's 6'4". Hawkins is 6'3". That's pretty much it. Then you have Elena Coates as well, but she's going through a whole different thing, just trying to get back, right? So
Hmm.
from the way you could attack teams defensively last year was you could kind of let them get in the paint, and then once they get in there, that was it. The ball's not getting back out, right? Where now it's more you got to stay in front of folks. So I agree with Coach D on that, and they just got to figure it out. I don't think it's the end of the world or anything like that, but I think this is one of those things. This little 4 game slide is you now know what you can't get away with.
Right.
You just can't. It's just that's like a perfect example. They lost one quarter tonight and lost this game. They lost
Yeah.
one quarter.
Pretty much.
They lost the second quarter. They lost the second quarter 27-11. They won the first, they won the fourth, and they tied in the third. Not the greatest at math, but the only difference was the second quarter where they lost 27-11. And why did they struggle in that quarter so much? Yeah, the ball's still kind of sticky a little bit, but they were moving the ball. They missed a lot of shots. So you're gonna have to push through that too, right? I honestly think they'll be fine. This is another one of the things where I know folks were excited and everything else. They still got to go through their adversity too as a group. This group has to. So we saw like the good parts. This is just some adversity, and we got to see how they respond. That's it. I don't think there's anything more than that. As for the Fever, they kind of hit their adversity early, and we're seeing
Hmm.
them kind of grow, right? Just kind of grow and find their way and be confident in what's going on. Like you got a lot of players like somebody like Kelsey Mitchell, where her usage has always kind of been high all her life on the for the way that she played the role that she played on teams. Where now like she has the ball, but that's pretty much Alaman running the show, right? Playing a little bit more off ball now, so she's getting comfortable, getting used to that role, and just trusting their offense. And I like the way that the Fever grew and took strides tonight, where they were executing on both ends. Yeah, Washington made runs to get back in it, but they continued to execute, and that was the difference here. And yeah, I just don't think it's before anybody goes crazy like Washington's plummeting back to earth, those types of headlines. I would just relax. They're going through some adversity. This is part of what happens where you only have one returning starter. There's a lot of folks that were part of a very good bench unit dealing with what comes with being a starter right now. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's nothing to make us think about, but you know those headlines are gonna come. But is once they start rolling again, we know how they're gonna switch. But but yeah, man, just thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. Still a lot of season left. We'll actually see you guys tomorrow because WNBA decided to have games on Monday. So yeah, catch you guys tomorrow. And thanks for tuning in.